saying. Now, I want to kind of focus on the Starbucks issue that's going on. Starbucks, the difference between them and McDonald's is they are not a franchise.
That's right.
And so they're kind of on the fucking hook right now. Like they're screwed. Right. How is this story? How is this progressing? That's all I know.
Well, good question. I mean, Starbucks, yes, that's right. They didn't franchise a lot of their stores. I will make one point though. Next time you go to an airport and you buy a cup of coffee from Starbucks, or you go to a hotel, or your grocery store, is there a Starbucks? Okay.
Yeah. There's some.
Yeah. Okay. Those are. What do they call them? Those are kiosks. They're called kiosks. They look like regular Starbucks stores. And there, the employees are not employed by Starbucks. They're employed by
Safeway.
That's right. And they're unionized often. If the Safeway is unionized, they're unionized. So the Starbucks is going on about, if they unionize everyone's this sort of wonderful, warm, cozy culture of Starbucks we were destroyed. Well, there are thousands of union baristas employed in Safeway or Ralph's or some of your local airport or your local hotel or wherever it is. And the coffee is pretty good, and the atmosphere is fine too. So anyway, but one reason that Starbucks didn't franchise is they wanted to sort of be distinctive, So they Starbucks did hire a kind of college kids, more than McDonald's would. They hired they were kind of LGBTQ friendly, etc. This is precisely the strata of young workers who are today very much in motion. I mean, I think they feel betrayed by employers during the pandemic. I think they feel that maybe the college education they've gotten hasn't paid off, and so you now have a kind of social movement at Starbucks. And, I think there are more than 200 of these stores which have gone through the regular, election process run by the National Labor Relations Board, and they have voted, in some cases overwhelmingly, to form a union. But that's not the end of the story, unfortunately, because... can I continue on? Or?
Oh, yeah. No, I'm sorry. I wanted to kind of add to what you were saying. I used to work for Starbucks, sure. And I'm actually part of I experienced all of the things that the union has talked about with the just continually cutting labor. Like I was there until the pandemic started, and then I was laid off. And leading up to that, in the previous fall, there were so many times like everything was kind of going well, and then just out of nowhere they kneecapped our labor. To where we would have like 7 people on the floor at a time, to then we went to having like 3 if we were lucky. Yeah. And they just said that we weren't earning it, and then literally a week later they came out with a press release saying that Kevin Johnson, the CEO, had gotten like a $22 million bonus. And just all of those things. And there's actually also too, it was just settled. It's Fredrickson versus Starbucks, a class action lawsuit that a lot of people signed on to about people not being given promotions that they were promised or being discriminated against for some sort of minority status or whatever for that. And that's already been settled.
Yeah, let me mention one thing. So I actually, if you work for, one of the things that Starbucks claims that's good is they say, if you work, you get health insurance. Okay. If you were, you can take these free college courses or something like that. And basically this is you have to work 20 hours a week, to qualify for these things. Now, here's one of the things about the boss and about individualism. The boss, the manager at every Starbucks, I mean, this is not some distant manager. This is a manager who knows you. They can determine whether or not, and this is the most important power they have, they can determine whether you work 20 hours a week or not. And if they cut your hours to below 20 hours, so it's not just a question of losing some pay, it's also you're no longer eligible for health insurance.
And that was the funny thing that always happened, is that whenever it was coming up for the quarterly review for insurance status, suddenly everybody had trouble getting hours.
That's right. At a unionized, in one of those Starbucks at Safeway, and I looked at the contract and talked to the union guys, you are guaranteed 20 hours a week. You're guaranteed it. It's in the contract. It's a violation of the contract. So, I mean, I just have it's Starbucks, despite all its warm and fuzzy, and kind of culturally, avant-garde nature, it's a fucking authoritarian workplace, and and that does not lead to individualism. It leads to cowering and conformity and the worst kind of oppression. So all of these workers are trying to be able to be free to express themselves, and I think they're finding they have to do that through collective action. Now, unfortunately, Starbucks has a lot of resources on its side. They aren't just money. It has lots of money too. The labor law is rotten. It's terrible. It cannot force Starbucks to negotiate a contract with each of those 200 stores that have actually formally voted and been certified with a union. In fact, Starbucks, it's unquestionably the case that their strategy is delay, put it off, stonewall, etc. And given the fact that the turnover at Starbucks is, I don't know, probably 100% a year, right? Let's wait a year and know what'll be left.
I've been gone from Starbucks. After I was gone from Starbucks for maybe like 8 months, the entire store, I think, except for maybe 3 people, had turned over.
Yeah. They want that. The idea of having a career, the other difference between a unionized Starbucks and a Safeway and other is that you can have a career if you work at a unionized place. By a career, I mean, you start off, the starting wage is still pretty low, but you know that every year you'll be there, the labor turnover is not so great, you'll get a wage increase, you'll get a promotion, and after 20 years, you'll be making enough money, to pay a mortgage, to have health insurance, to have retirement. At Starbucks, I guarantee, and at McDonald's and Walmart, they want turnover. They want it. They don't want anyone retiring from there. They want turnover, and that's a recipe for social chaos and disruption. I mean, if no one has a permanent job, well, it may be exciting for a few years when you're 18 years old, but by the time you have a spouse, a mortgage, and a dog, and a car payment, you want something predictable.
Yeah, 100%. Like, what other types of labor disputes are going on in the United States right now that maybe aren't a part of the narrative that's going on in the news media cycle?
Yeah. Well, okay. Let's see. Well, lots of things are happening. I mean, many of them are kind of, again, organizing. That is the big problem confronting, the union movement certainly, and I would say working people in general, is that the resistance to forming new unions in new industries has been enormous, and therefore the union movement has in fact shrunk dramatically. And so the most important thing is organizing. And so we see that now at Amazon. We see that at Delta Airlines. They're trying to organize stewardesses. We see that in some of the Japanese-run auto plants, which are not organized. We see that in lots and lots of places. We see it in actually, the interesting thing is retail. Retail, again, young people, lots of turnover, kind of people would go in there with the expectation of not creating a career. Now we see in retail, from everything from Apple stores to REI stores to other kind of retail outlets, a kind of an organizing impulse is taking place, and that's a new thing. That is a new thing. And the other thing, by the way, is in kind of categories of workers which we thought of as they were kind of I don't know, like museum people or journalists or teachers of various sorts or publishing people. You know, talk about they were thought no, they aren't interested in unionism. Well, now there's a big impulse that's happening. So that's one thing, kind of just organizing. I want to emphasize that. The other thing is just raising wages. It used to be $15. You've heard of the campaign for $15, right? Well, that should really be $30 now. It should be $30 because $15 isn't what it used to be. And I'll make a prediction right now. 11 months from now, the largest strike in American history for the last 50 years is going to take place. It's going to take place at United Parcel Service, where 325,000 workers who are organized by the Teamsters, and the Teamsters have just had a reform leadership taken over. They will go on strike at UPS for higher wages and better conditions, it will be the kind of strike we used to have 50, 60 years ago. That is a strike that is clearly going to set the pattern for American wages and working conditions for many, many hundreds of thousands or maybe millions of people, other people. And this is going to happen. It's going to happen on July 1, 2023, when the current contract expires, because these UPS worker people, they're very busy. You if you buy anything from, right? And they got a lot of work. But the wages have lagged, and there's going to be a huge, gigantic strike. And it's going to mean that FedEx, which is non-union, is going to be watching very closely. And I guarantee you, when UPS wins, and I think the workers will win at UPS, FedEx will instantly raise its wages as well. And that means that everyone in this whole giant logistics industry, from the warehouses to the truck drivers, we're going to have a titanic struggle in 11 months. I will make that prediction for you right now. It's not Blair Mountain.
Shit.
It won't be Blair Mountain, but it'll be big.
Okay.
It'll be big. And you remember what I said.
Oh, dude! I'm gonna put a reminder on my calendar, and I'll be reaching
July
out
1,
to you. And we're gonna be having a
2023.
podcast.
This strike, this will not be settled because the workers are ready to go. There's a reform leadership. There's radicals in the Teamsters Union. The Teamsters, for good reason, they have a bad reputation. They've been some terrible things, but right now it's led by
Jimmy Hoffa, baby.
led by reformers, and there's going to be this titanic strike. I guarantee it.
Holy smokes! You got any inside sources? Don't reveal them here, but like you talking to someone on the inside?
Yes, they're preparing for it right now. They're preparing for this strike right now. Right now.
So not the parcel United States Post.
No.
UPS,
United Parcel Service. It's the private firm. The brown trucks, the brown uniforms.
Brown trucks. Yeah. I just wanted to make sure we're clear there. That is fascinating. So then that's going to affect Fed. What about Amazon though? Because Amazon is definitely getting into the logistics game as well. This is an area that I'm very like.
They are. Those little you see those trucks running around with the little Amazon. Once again, that's fissured employment. Those are independent contractors. Those are not actually. Again, they have the Amazon uniform. They have the Amazon truck. By the way, the same is true with FedEx. All those FedEx guys running around. They're independent contractors. They have to paint their trucks exactly the way FedEx wants, but they are legally considered independent contractors. It's a scam. It's like nothing more than a carnival scam where they're denied Social Security, they're denied unemployment insurance, they're denied health insurance. But because you're an independent contractor. Well, they're every minute of their work life is controlled by FedEx. That's one of the big problems facing labor. This really effort to legally deconstruct what is a worker,
I think I might depart somewhere because I feel like I met someone years ago, and this could be complete bullshit, but I think you can start a little like logistics company delivering Amazon, like delivering Amazon packages and whatnot. Like they'll pay you, right? So you could buy a few Sprinter vans, hire a few guys. Or maybe not, maybe you just do it yourself. But let's say you hire a few guys right? And you make sure that the contract's negotiated favorably, and you're in business for yourself. And then as a employer, I think because of Obamacare, you have to have insurance if you have workers. So like that's if you have your own business and you're delivering for Amazon, like it's not. Let's say even if you are an independent contractor, wouldn't it be at the behest of the individual to if you're making decent coin, right? You could technically pay for insurance or get something, right? Or to get a health savings account and then invest that. But let's say you don't do that, but get a health savings account. You have a rainy day. Like, don't you think that there should be maybe a little bit of of responsibility on the individual?
No,
I mean,
no. The reason is no. You're wrong.
I love it.
No,
right.
no. And the reason is that who's setting the rates? Who's determining how much this person gets paid for every package that's delivered, and they have to deliver, and the quota. No, the crucial things about that business are entirely determined by Amazon and not by the individual. The only thing the individual can do is exploit themselves or their workers. And by self-exploitation, a lot of that means, working 14 hours a day and making below minimum wage, which is what can happen when they aren't paying enough. So the answer is no. And in fact, the California legislature has passed AB 5, a law which made that everything you just described illegal. Okay. Now these companies are fighting back, but they don't like it because they want to exploit their workers. But it's illegal, and according to in California. And so if in other words, if it squawks like a duck, if it walks like a duck, it's a duck. In other words, it's an employer. If the employer controls what you make, what your schedule, what kind of uniform you have, it's an employer. They may call you an independent contractor. They may call you an entrepreneur. They may put advertisements on TV about how happy you are, but you're a worker and they're the employer. And the answer is that we shouldn't fall for that bullshit.
I don't know enough about this. I don't know if you have to buy the Sprinter van. I don't understand what kind of contract you're signing with them or how much they're paying. I don't know if they're covering your fuel. I don't know enough about this to bring forth any counterpoints to your opinion. I'll default to you. I should have maybe looked into this because I didn't know we were going to get here, but I am fascinated because I feel like it's a good opportunity, maybe to make a little extra coin. I feel like I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I'm going to just default it. I don't know. I'll defer to you.